So, this movie is a rape revenge movie, but it is directed by a woman for once. A lot of rape revenge movies, I personally think are in bad taste. Like, there was one I had watched years back. It's probably one of the most famous rape revenge movies, I Spit on Your Grave. And a lot of that movie is just very, 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 very graphic rape scenes. So I do like that this one was nothing like that, and it was directed by a woman, which definitely helps. She doesn't need to make this woman the perfect victim. Like, she's not some innocent schoolgirl that, oh my god, you feel so bad for her for being raped, but you still feel bad for her because nobody deserves that. And she's not like this perfect victim that a lot of men talk about online. Like, a lot of men will blame women when they get raped. Like, they'll be like, oh, what were you wearing? And stuff like that. And she is a lot like that in this movie, where she is openly sexual. She doesn't care, you know. She's very open about her sexuality. She walks around half naked for a lot of the movie and doesn't care. I like that. It's not what you would expect from a movie like this, and it works, and it says a lot, you know, without saying much. Like, it doesn't have to beat you over the head with it. If you've argued with enough idiot men online about stuff like this, like I have, you know, it's pretty obvious what this movie's doing. And yeah, she openly flirts with one of the guys, supposedly is, you know, what he thinks. But no, she's just having fun. You know, she's just being open. Like, just because she does something that might seem sexual to you doesn't mean that she's flirting with you or wants you. So, you know, like, she's dancing on this guy, and of course he gets pissed when she ends up not wanting to sleep with him. And you get a very disturbing scene even before the rape scene happens, where he's watching her undress, and he doesn't take the hint that she doesn't want him there. She ends up telling him that he's not. She tries to be polite about it. She's like, "You're not my type," and he's like, "Well, what's there not to like about me?" And she tries to do like a typical excuse, like just a preference excuse, where she says, "Well, insert here, you aren't, you know, the height I like." And he laughs it off, and of course, it doesn't end well. You're hoping it's gonna end well, but this is a horror movie, and he fucking says, "I didn't get shorter, did I?" You know, trying to victim blame her. Like, you were flirting with me last night, so why won't you fuck me today? That is not how consent works. That is not how sex works. That is not how anything works. And even if she was flirting with you yesterday, consent can be revoked at any time. Anytime. No means no. It's literally that simple. You can be in the middle of having sex, and suddenly she's not feeling it anymore, and she can tell you no, and she has every right to do so. She can be in the mood texting you while you're at work, and then when you come home, she not be in the mood anymore, and she has every right to say no. I don't know why this is such a complicated thing to, unfortunately, a lot of men, but apparently it is, because I've had lots of arguments online about it, where shitty men try to defend shitty men. So, of course, he unfortunately does rape her. It is not very graphic, but is still disturbing because you can hear her screams while it's off screen. And Dimitri walks in, and you think maybe he's gonna save her, but he just shoves food in his mouth, walks away, turns the TV on so he can't hear her, and goes and swims in the pool. Just wow. He is the first to go out of them all. She is given money and a new job in Canada, because she had mentioned that she wanted to live in Los Angeles, and her shitty ass boyfriend is like, it's close enough to Los Angeles. So she obviously does not take it. She wants to go home. And that's where it goes wrong. He ends up slapping her in the face because she tries to use the fact that she is sleeping with him when he has a wife. I don't think, that's another good thing about her, that she's not a perfect character. She's not a good person in that regard anyway. I don't think anybody that openly is, sleeping with someone or dating somebody that they know has a partner is obviously very good moral wise, but that doesn't make her a shitty person that I want to see die. It just means, well, I don't particularly like you, but I'm going to be rooting for you, especially in this type of movie. She gets slapped in the face for bringing up the fact that, that he's cheating on his wife, which she has every right to do. You are the only one that's choosing to cheat on her, dude, and he does not have the right to hit her. You never have the right to hit someone unless it is in a self-defense situation. And this is not a self-defense situation. You are just hurt that you're being called out on being a shitty person. She tries to run off, but all three of them chase after her. She gets pushed off a cliff after he pretends that he's on the phone. I thought it was obvious that he was pretending to be on the phone. No way was he actually calling a chopper. But, I mean, it's still impactful nonetheless. He pushes her off a cliff and she gets impaled. And you're like, fuck. She should be dead. But this movie is a bit unrealistic in that regard, with a lot of people surviving very crazy shit. So, yeah, she lives. Dimitri ends up throwing a can down there when they come back because they decide not to go clean up the body yet. They want to go hunting first and then clean up the mess later. Which, wow, can't believe he said that. But yeah, they throw a can down there. She hides like on the side of the cliff because obviously looking down you wouldn't see her, which gives her time to escape. I thought it was kind of stupid that Dimitri threw the can down there. What if they forgot about it? That would be evidence. It's whatever. Kind of stupid though. She ends up running into Dimitri and trying to shoot him because he's taking a piss, and she ends up getting a gun. But of course, he didn't leave the gun loaded. He's at least smarter than that. They get into a fight. She kills him. She takes his gun, his knife, and his car, and she also takes his backpack, which is very smart. You don't see that too often in horror movies. But she doesn't take his pants. I don't think it ruins the movie that she's like half naked. The director had said that's what she wanted, or she didn't want her to be able to she wanted her to take control while still being in a vulnerable position. But I personally think only because that they had set the stage that it's pretty cold out. She never puts pants on. Like, come on now. She should have put pants on. Or at least shoes. At least shoes. Because she's running barefoot through a lot of the movie, which just hurts to watch. Even if she's not, doing something that hurts her feet. So, yeah. She drinks a beer, which obviously wouldn't exactly, quench your thirst. But at the same time, what ends up making me mad, even though I understand why she does it, is she wastes it. I don't like people that waste, especially in this, instance. I don't like people who litter. That's something that really bugs me because it's so easy to just throw something away. But there's not even that much beer left, and she dumps it out before using the beer can to help get rid of her injury, which I understand she needed the beer can for that, but she could have finished off the drink, especially since there wasn't that much left. But that's always been a nitpick with me is, wasting stuff. If a friend comes over, I give them a soda and they drink most of it, but they leave some in the cup. At least a decent amount. Not just drops on the bottom, obviously. It'll always bug me that people waste shit. So that's just a personal nitpick from me, not like something that ruins the movie. So she uses the beer can to cauterize the wound. She even gets like a makeshift tattoo with like a phoenix. It's pretty fucking cool. And she had used drugs, which they had mentioned earlier in the movie that this guy cut off his own leg and bled to death, and he didn't feel a thing because he was on this drug. So it makes sense. They used it as a plot device, which a lot of drugs can make you fucking do weird shit, like mushrooms and shit. I don't remember what the exact drug is in this movie, but I could believe it. I could believe it that she didn't feel the pain because of the drugs. I mean, people get drugged to do surgeries. It may be like a prescription drug or a certain drug that only doctors have access to, but it's still a drug nonetheless, like anesthesia. So I could believe it. You know, she goes on her mission. The dude gives away his possession because he's looking at himself in a mirror. So it does a little flashing light, and she has binoculars because she had stolen from the backpack. And she ends up getting into a fight with him. The rifle, of course, does a kickback when she tries to shoot him. He ends up crawling away. He gets up their hand and shoots her ear off, which I thought that scene was kind of dumb because the blood trail stopped. The blood trail stopped. Instead of looking to the left, she kept walking. What are you doing? So, of course, he gets the upper hand on her because he's behind her now, and he shoots her ear off, get into another scuffle. He ends up making it back to the car and trying to run her off the road. She misses a few times, but ends up hitting him. I totally expected the car to go off the road. It should have, I think, because he doesn't have control of the car now. He should have went off the road, and that would have fucked her more. So I get it. She needed the car for plot device reasons, but I feel like the car should have went off the road. The main character, her boyfriend, he pretty much realizes, I think his name's Richard or something. I forget. He realizes that his buddy's probably dead. He's probably dead. So he decides to call it quits. He goes home and he's like, hey, Ricardo or something, I think is his name. We never see him on screen. He's mentioned a handful of times. He's like, hey, Ricardo, I want the chopper in like 30 minutes. I do like that detail because that is the exact time that he had lied to her about and said that Ricardo would come get her in 30 minutes. It's a cool detail. At least to me anyway. Ends up going to take a shower. He's hanging dong for the rest of the movie. So you see it a few times, but they don't go out of their way to show it, and they spend a lot of the time trying to avoid it, actually. Probably to not get an X rating. So yeah, there's also like a funny ad. Like they got an ad playing during their confrontation. You know, she's staring him down with a rifle and he's standing there butt ass naked, realizing he's fucked, that this girl's got her sights on him. And there's just an ad playing for jewelry in the background. It's fucking hilarious. And it plays throughout the rest of the movie. Like, sure, they end up going to another room and fighting for a bit. But yeah, you know, when she ends up going back into that room, it's still playing. I liked that. It was pretty funny. She ends up killing him. He says some sexist shit about how women should be put in their place. He also insults her, which this is a part I didn't like. Not like as a movie wise, but I don't think it makes sense. He calls the two guys idiots and was like, you know what, you can't outsmart me. You outsmarted them because they're idiots and blah, blah, blah. So, you don't like these guys, right? You don't like them. Apparently, they're not even really your friends. You don't really like these guys. You think they're idiots. You think they're stupid, etc., etc. Yet, you could have just turned them in for what they did. You were not involved with it. You came home and found out that she had got raped by one of them and that the other guy let it happen. You could have turned them in. There's no explanation on why he didn't turn them in, and it's very clear he doesn't even like these guys. So, why did he do it? I don't get it. I mean, especially in this scene, it's very clear that he doesn't like these guys. He insults them. They're dead now, and he's like, well, you can't outsmart me. You only outsmarted them because they're idiots. Like, then why were you protecting them? You didn't have to protect them. You could have let her take a chopper back to LA and testified against these two assholes in court. But no, you wanted to just pay off your girlfriend and not let her talk about what happened to her. Like, he wasn't even there. He had went out to go get hunting licenses. So he very much didn't know that it happened until it happened. Yet, I also find it pretty funny that when he lashes out at the guy originally, he is yelling at him because he said that he's sorry. Like, he thinks that's very stupid that he's trying to apologize for rape. So, I mean, it makes it seem like he might be on her side, which obviously he isn't, as we find out later. But yet, when he's giving her the money, he expects her to accept an apology from the guy. What happened there? Like, you thought it was stupid that he was trying to apologize, but now you don't? She ends up killing him with another shot with a rifle. He's bleeding like fucking crazy throughout the movie. It also leads to this pretty cool scene where he's trying to like set up a trap and get her, but his blood ends up revealing where he is, so she doesn't go that way, and she decides to go the other way around. But he ends up realizing that he got caught too, even though she's very quiet about going back the other way. The movie ends with her being able to escape in the chopper, but we still don't see Ricardo. Not a criticism of the movie, but I thought that was funny. They could have cast an actor for Ricardo. This movie's a very small movie. There's only 4 characters in it. I mean, we don't even hear the wife. At least I don't remember hearing her. But yeah, that's the movie. It's a pretty good movie.